Uh-oh. There's John.
John Watts, if you put your cursor in the box with your face, there's a blue box in the upper right-hand corner.
That's all right. You're unmuted now, John. I got you. No, he's not. Be careful what you say. You're not muted. You can, but then we're going to all hear it. Just remember, I'm in the church. I don't know.
What is it, a percentage of certain average attendance last year or something like that?
Well, it should be, yes, it should be somewhere around 40, but I don't know if we'll get 40. We'll see.
David, I can listen to the top of your head. It's a religious charm.
Just tell it. You never ask permission, you always ask forgiveness. Yeah, we can see the top of your head, David. I really pushed the quorum thing because I was hoping it would make people sign on. We're going to have a meeting whether we have a quorum or not. That's right. I've also got Facebook Live and Zoom, or YouTube Live up, but I don't know. I can't tell who's on. I can't tell how many people are connected.
Some people are still muted.
Yes.
Sue and Joe. Jay? I see Jay is joining us. Joe, what are you doing? Hello, everybody. There she is. Hi, Dee. Hi, Joe. Hi, Dee. Jay has his own connection. He's going to vote.
Well, he attended more than some. I think he misses us more than Bob and Sue do. think so. Sue, is Bob behind the square? Oh.
Your square.
Yes.
Yes.
And Caroline is on either Facebook or YouTube. I think she said Facebook, so she's just going to be listening to take notes.
If I don't like the call, meeting ID number.
The meeting ID number? Let me.
Yeah, get on Zoom. I didn't need one. I know, well, I didn't either on my phone, but Martin's trying to get on the computer, but he's got to zoom in.
Oh.
And can you pull up an email and go in for the email from St. Bart's? That's how I did it. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I don't, because
That's how I pulled mine up. Okay, and then pull it up. But I'm not showing her face.
I think I can invite him again.
It's gonna try and go, it's gonna try and go through my email. And pull it up.
Okay.
The computer check here, it pull us up.
You be careful, he might cut us off.
Tell me to hot tub.
That's right. He said silent. That's what Jesus said to that unclean spirit today. Be silent.
Hi, Sylvia. Hi, boy. I'm not going to see it. There. I don't see it. Hey, Sylvia. Hey, Sylvia. Hi, guys. It's Becky, and I'm not apparently getting video. Which frankly, what's wrong with your husband? And I don't even have my pajamas on.
Well, I hope the video doesn't come on if that's, you don't have anything on. Or did you mean you had something better than your pajamas on? I see that we have 18, it says. 18 different people on here. I don't know who they all are because I can't see everyone. Yeah, now it's 15. All right, we're gonna give it a couple more minutes and then we're gonna start because I promised I'd it in case anybody makes comments, but I don't know how that it won't.
Well, I mean, you get good feedback, horrible.
Well, I got it on mute. I'm just trying to watch the comments when they type if they type in comments.
Can you see me now? Get off.
I know. I said we were going to give it a couple of minutes and let some more people come on if they want. Yes. Yes.
And then, if you want to talk, or ask a question, if you're on your knees, you can press the space bar and hold it, and it will open your mic, and then when you take your finger off your space bar on your computer, it'll turn it back on you. So it's easier than going back and forth to your button.
And
Thank you.
I didn't either.
Very good, thank you.
The other thing for this, if there's really only one thing that I can think of we have to vote on, if you look at the bottom, sort of towards the right in that list, it's on the very right of your list of things, it says reaction. So if you do a reaction and you want to say yes, if you would hit the thumbs up.
Okay, there's a thumbs up, huh?
And I'm
Okay,
hoping,
cool.
and I'm hoping I can see it, but I don't know. Somebody much more techie than, oh, I see it. Okay, that works. Okay, so that'll be our sort of, yes. Do you click it again? I don't know. I don't know. I guess, can you hit the reaction again?
What's wrong with that? So I did my thumbs up, and I wanted to raise it, and I didn't have anything that says thumbs down, and so I raised my hand, and then I lowered my hand and took them both off.
Oh, okay.
You are good. It's an iPad, and I hadn't found that, so. Maybe you can just hold your fingers like that. That's where we go. Everybody did that, you can go down the line, whoever's got it.
All
Maybe
right.
what we could do is if you are against it, you would do a thumbs down, and if you didn't do anything, that would be assumed to be a thumbs up.
Well, we'll get there. Let's all mute for a moment. Let us pray. Almighty and ever-loving God, source of all wisdom and understanding, be present with those who take counsel in this annual meeting of St. Bartholomew for the renewal and mission of your church. Teach us in all things to seek first your honor and glory. Guide us to perceive what is right, and grant us both the courage to pursue it and the grace to accomplish it. Through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. And so everyone should have received the whole packet, And my hope is that you don't want us to go through it, because we're not going to. What I am going to do is invite each person, if they want to, each of the officers to say something that, if there's something they think they want to say besides what their written report is. And then we'll go to the financial, then the rector's report, and then we'll talk about the other things that we need to talk about. So let's start with, Donna, would you like to address anything that you put in your report or didn't put in your report, or something that came to mind, or?
Well, I don't have anything really additional to say, and I guess the best we can do at this point is look forward to the good days that await us when more people have been vaccinated and we're able to resume our normal way of doing worship. We all miss that, and we miss each other.
Yes. I know Lucy was on there. What about you, Steve? I don't know if, I don't see you. I don't see Lucy anymore. Oh, there's Lucy.
He's here.
Do you have anything to impart?
I do not. I've been pretty lax and tied down, so, but I will, Father Michael has given me a couple of projects that I have not done very well in pursuing that and getting that accomplished, that I will soon, and I'll report after that.
Speaking of which, did you talk to somebody and that may have come and put marks on the parking lot?
That would be the more.
Oh, okay.
I could get people to go quote.
Oh, okay.
What I wanted, where I wanted it.
Gotcha.
That is in progress, but.
I didn't know where the marks came from. I just knew there were marks, and I thought, oh, okay. That's right.
In case y'all are wondering what that's about, Father Michael wants speed bumps in there because we have people who come from one side, one street to another, and they zoom through the parking lot. And when we're having our different functions out there, it's a little dangerous. So we're gonna try to put some speed bumps in there so it doesn't actually take the bottom off of the car, but it will slow it down.
Yeah, I'm asking to do double speed bumps. And also, when the kids are going back and forth to the playground, these people don't look, and they come flying around that corner. We actually almost had an adult hit, about a week or two ago, because they don't pay attention. They just come flying through the parking lot. And especially if they're coming off of Country Club and trying to get Old Greenwood, when they come around the building, I mean, if somebody's right there, they're not going to see them. So our next topic is financials. dawned on me that Carolyn might not be able to hear. I'm trying to see if she hears now. I put my mic up here, so maybe she can. Oh, she's typing, so she must be able to. Maybe. I wasn't thinking about that when I thought we'd do Facebook Live and Zoom Live. Okay. She said that's better. Okay, we're good. All right. So what I want to do is I want to cover a couple of things. Just kind of talk about sort of where we've been and where we're going. It's really been a kind of a crazy year, as you all know, with worship and trying to figure out how we do it and what we do. If you're not aware, we are having services. I am allowing 10 people to show up for service. And that is against the advice of the bishop. He has been clear that he is not telling us we cannot. He is just not recommending it. And I, and with the support of the vestry, have said we feel like those people who feel like they're comfortable coming, we want to allow them to be able to attend in person within reason. We are doing pretty strict protocols, and as to my knowledge, and if somebody knows something I don't, we have had no cases of COVID come out of the church, and we have had people from church have COVID. So I think we've done pretty well with that, and I feel comfortable with where we are. I think it's important that we offer live services because it's part of our common life. I know it's easy to stay at home in your bunny slippers and watch it on your computer or put it on your big screen TV, but I really think that it's important that we find a way to be together. And so that's what I'm trying to do. I don't want anybody to feel pressured to come if you don't feel comfortable. But I do want you to know that we are here and we welcome you as you feel comfortable to come. It's been a tough year, not as much financially as we were afraid of because of no one coming, though we had a pretty good hit of over $4,000 in plate just from the budget. We're probably down about $8,000 from what we usually get. I think last year we got somewhere in the neighborhood of $12,000 in plate, and this year it's around $4,000. Isn't that right, Joel?
Yes, sir.
So, I mean, we did take a hit. The other thing I'm particularly proud of, though I know that some would probably disagree with, is we didn't have to take, or nor did we take the PPP loan. If we looked at the future, we might consider it. But one of the questions that was asked on that PPP loan was, were we hit in a way that we could not continue doing, quote, business the way we do it? And that just wasn't true for us. And I didn't feel comfortable saying that that was true, particularly from an organization of faith that, I'm trying to be honest. And I know some churches who did take it, and they have a surplus because of it. But I truly believe that the way that we're doing it is a more faithful stance. It's why I don't really mind when we have negative budgets, because I think at some point we as a church, we as people of faith have to decide whether or not we have faith that God's going to help us through this, or we're going to just depend on ourselves. And I think we've always been very faithful. We have, in the, believe it or not, almost 5 years, it's 4.5 now. We have had 1 year where we closed the year in the negative, and that was our first year together, our first half a year together. And so I think because of the faithfulness of the people here, we didn't have to do that. And part of that means that other people who truly needed it got it. And there are businesses that really did need it, and some of those businesses didn't get it because people who didn't need it took it. And so that's sort of, just so you know, in really open and honest terms and transparency, that was my thought process behind it. It might be that if they offer it again, we have to look at it if things shift for us. But the reality is, I think we're up a little bit on our pledges this year, so I think we'll be okay. I'm sorry.
Good.
Oh,
I agree. I couldn't get excited.
oh, okay.
I think you did the right thing.
Well, thank you. Thank you. The other thing I want to say is, you know, being the senior warden in normal times is very difficult. Being the senior warden in a time where we can't come together really brings on a lot more challenges than I think most people know. Especially if you've never served as a senior warden, you have no idea what goes on behind the scenes. I think some people who have not done that think that it's just this person who sits around and is sort of a figurehead. But the reality is, the senior warden is somebody that is, to the rector, their right hand. There's somebody that the rector can go to and trust to run things past. And when there's something needed, I can call on them and say, hey, I need lunches for some sort of dinner for once a week for the next 3 months. And Donna gets on the phone and gets meals for the next 3 months. Those are the things that senior wardens do, and Donna really has done an amazing job, especially considering we can't come together. Just keeping us connected, calling people. That's what a senior warden does, and I think, you know, Donna has done a great job at making sure things didn't slip between the cracks. Because the reality is we are a small crew.
It's been a challenge this year. You know, you're kind of out of the rhythm a little bit. Thank you.
I get that. And that's why I think that people need to know that sometimes you do feel like you're out of the loop. But, you know, it really is a tough job in a normal time. But it was really tough this year. And the reality is, it's going to be a tough again this year that we're in, because we don't know when we're going to meet again in full church services. And there's a lot of things that we still want to do, and it takes more than just Becky and I from the church. It takes somebody else to take on those projects. My prayer is that Donna's going to have a big job for September, because everybody's going to be vaccinated and we're going to have a big celebration. Whether or not that happens, I don't know, but that's my hope. So I just want to make sure that that everybody knows how important the senior warden is and how good a job Donna has done to make sure all those things happen. And most of all, just be able to be there for me to run ideas past and say, okay, this is what I'm thinking. Tell me what sounds right or what sounds totally crazy. And sometimes I am. I look at some of the things that we've accomplished. I mean, just looking at the food pantry, and I know most of you have seen the organization, but you really have no idea, nor did I. I had this idea that we would have this food pantry and it would just be easy. Well, let me tell you, it is not easy. Miranda works full-time taking care of that food pantry as a volunteer. And I'll guarantee you she's here at least 30 hours a week, if not more, to make sure that thing runs, stays organized. You know, the food is ordered, the food is put up, the reports that have to go out that I just had no idea that we had to do just to stay in with our food, with the food banks, to be able to order from them. And so, you know, I have come up with some crazy ideas, and God sent somebody to save my honey. So I'm thankful for that. The kindergarten is another thing that, of course, it wasn't my idea, but I'll take credit for it if I could. It's a wonderful thing, you know, when you come in, because normally I get here somewhere between 8:30 and 9, and you hear these kids either repeating words or sounds, or you hear them laughing and playing. You know, that's what really, from every story I've heard, has been always the base, the foundation of this congregation is that preschool and kindergarten. And, you know, we don't know what next semester is going to look like, but I'm telling you, these last two, well, the one we're in and the one prior, has really been a joy. And I just can't say that enough. And I hope in some way we can continue, whether it's that or something different, to make sure that we have a safe place for kids to be and know that they really are welcome here. Because so many churches say, we want kids and we want to make sure they're welcome. But, you know, we don't want them to be too loud, and we don't want them to do this, and we don't want them to do that. And we have to make sure they're welcome by showing them that this is their space too. And I think if you talk to any of the five, but I can tell you two for sure that would tell you they feel perfectly at home here and are happy to tell you any chance they get. and another one who might not tell you that, but she'll tell you everything else. So it's just really, I mean, things from my viewpoint, looking out at all the things that are going on and how successful we are. I mean, I pulled up yesterday to come and get ready to start for the Saturday evening service. And somebody, I have no idea who he is, just walked off of the sidewalk, came over, introduced himself, and said, I just want to tell you how much, and I always get emotional when people do this, so don't, how much I appreciate what y'all do at this church. He says, you know, you don't know me, you don't know anything about me, but I'm telling you, the people in this community know you. And that's not about me, that's about us. It's about what we do together here. That people really know us. They need us to do what we do. And I'm thankful that we're in a place where we can do it. Because there's a lot of churches out there that don't want to. They don't want those people who need food to show up at their church door. They don't want people who need clothes to show up at their door. But we welcome them and we try to help them. Now, don't get me wrong, we're not letting them in during COVID because we're going to keep everybody safe. But we do give them that food and those clothes that they need and really do need it. And, you know, I've said this before, I know there are people who are going to scam us. That's just part of life. And the way I look at it is, if we give from our heart, they have to deal with the consequences, not us. But if we close our heart, then we have to deal with it. And so I'm just thankful that we are all willing to really step out and do the work God's called us to do. And I mean it when I say, since I have been here, it seems like we started a new ministry every year. And I want to see us continue to do that because we do it well. And we've been able to do so much. You know, another thing that we started this year because Bella's connection with the police department is once a month there's a group that makes sack lunches for 100 people. I think they try to give them out mostly to kids, but I think they give them out to other people. They go into neighborhoods where they need to build community between the police and the community, and they give out these sack lunches. You know, that's another way that we continue to reach out. We're not doing it alone. We're partnering with someone, which for me, that's what ministry is. It's not just what we do alone, it's how we partner together. The partnership that we created with Next Step and the Veterans Association, the Veterans Administration, to have a Veterans Food Pantry. You know, it's those connections that really make people see that we aren't just talking about faith, we're actually doing what we say we believe. You know, and I do. I look around and I'm trying not to be judgmental, but I'm so proud of what all of us get to do together that I sometimes sound like it. They don't do it. You know, there's people with churches with a lot more money than we have, that are not doing what we do. And so, you know, I'm really proud of us. I really am proud of us. And I want you to be proud of us because we do great work. Out of, you know, what did we talk about? What was a quorum? 41? So 80 some odd folks. We do a lot. Let me tell you, that is really, and anyone in ministry will tell you, what we do is just, most people cannot believe we do it. So be proud of yourselves. Be proud of what we do and what you support, because it is making a difference in our community, and people do notice. And it's not that we do it for that reason. We do it because that's what we're called to do, but not everyone's willing to do that. I think I see a hands up. Is that a hand up? Or is that somebody just pushing the buttons? Anybody have any questions or comments about what we did last year or anything like that? Questions, comments, thoughts?
Michael, I do want to thank the church for Next Step. There were a couple of times, I know of one particular time, you know, we had the clothing closet, and we had a very rainy fall, very early on, and there was a time when we needed to really quickly see if we could get people into dry clothing. And I was able to come to the church and get pants and the things that we needed. And we did that in just 2 hours. And so it was so cool that we could have that. And so I really appreciate anybody who's working on the clothing closet. It's wonderful.
And we have 3-4 people working in there pretty regularly, and that is Miranda Will, Joan Beaker, and Betty Lytle, who is not even a member, but she's Renee, who used to do the communications. It's her mother-in-law. And those 4 do most of it. I mean, they really do. So it's a neat program. And the last thing I'll say about what we started this year is, as most of you know, CSA was not compatible any longer because of the space needed and things like that. We actually have 4 instructors who are teaching here and have started a new group called Fourth Strings. It's another chamber type string, violin, cello, that kind of thing, where they have done their first virtual concert as well. It's 4 teachers, it's 15 kids, it's very manageable. So we haven't given up on making sure that we reach out to the community. We have 2 offices that are shared by a couple of different people that meet here. Of course, the kindergarten's here. So we are still allowing people to use space as needed. The AA group and the Al-Anon group is still allowed to meet in person, because I truly feel like that AA needs to meet in person. I know a lot of the places have basically told them they couldn't meet there, they could meet virtually, and I just don't think that's as good, and the people I know in AA don't think that's as good. So we have not told them they can't meet any longer. We are going to allow them space to meet and just ask them to be as safe as possible, and they have done a good job as far as I know. Yes. think I heard Dee say amen. Oh, goodness. Well, let's talk about the future. Let's talk about what we perceive for this year. As you may have heard already, or if you have not, you will hear, Ash Wednesday will be strictly a Ashes to Go program. It will be done at noon and at 6 p.m. as a drive-through. We can't have everybody in the church, and I don't want to limit who is allowed to come and who isn't. And so I'm going to do it as a virtual. I'm going to do a virtual service, which you'll be able to watch. But I'm also going to allow you to do the Ashes to Go, and we'll do it 2 times so that people can navigate that. And what I would ask is, if anybody talks to someone who says noon and 6 won't work for me, please let me know, because we'll make it work. If I have to do it another time, or we have to figure out something, I will make it work, because to me it's important that if we are doing ministry, we do it in a way that meets people where they are. And I don't always know what that is, because I don't know everybody's schedule, but I want to try to make it work for everyone. And I don't want you to say, oh, well, that's too much work on you. That's not a legitimate comment. I'm just going to say that right off. This is what I do, and I've said this before, and I'll continue to say it. I am your priest, but I can only be your pastor if you let me. And so you have to let me. And that means if something doesn't work, you have to talk to me about it, or I can't fix it. So just know that I'm very serious about that. I really want to make sure that people are able to worship and to be part of the community in ways that works for you. But I don't always know what that is unless you tell me. So again, I am your priest, but I can only be your pastor if you let me. And so it's up to you. The other thing is, I am looking and planning for Easter. At this point, I'm going to tell you that I am fairly certain Easter will not be an in-house, in-church celebration. I am right now in the process, or actually I got Will doing it, finding a way to do a big Easter service outside in our field. We will have cables that will run from mics in the church so that Susan can play the organ and we can hear the music out there. I will have a speaker out there that will be fed back into the church so Susan knows where we are. And we will have a celebration if the weather works. If the weather doesn't, I haven't quite gotten an alternative figured out yet, but we will figure it out. But I just want you to know, we are going to have an Easter service. I don't know for sure what it's going to look like, but my plan is that it will be outdoors. Because I want as many people who want to be able to come. And that'll mean we have to spread out. But you know what? We've got a big field out there to spread out in. And if I can get enough speakers, you will hear it all and you will be able to be a part of it all. And so that's sort of my plan for Easter at this point, is that we will do it out there. Holy Week, we're just going to have to figure out how we do that. I think part of it will be done virtually. Bella has said that she is happy to do the traditional lentils as a to-go kind of thing. I would suspect and I hope that we can do Easter dinner the same way, only this time I'd like to take orders so that we know how many that people want and we know how much food to buy and prepare so that we can be ahead of the game instead of people just showing up. We'll do a sort of an order way of doing Easter dinner to go. So that kind of gets us through Lent, and we'll see where things go after that. We always have a major project that we do each year. My hope is this year it's going to be really major, which we will have to start a little bit later than what I'd like to, but I really want to see us remodel the kitchen. I think it's something that's been needing to be done. I think there are ways to make that kitchen more functional, and it definitely needs a ceiling painting. If you ever look up in that kitchen, you know you're afraid something's going to fall off on your head. But so that's sort of the plan for our major renovation or project for the trust account this year, is to do something with the kitchen. Reorganizing, remodeling it. I really want to hear your feedback. I really want to ask that we don't have a committee, because as you know, when we get committees, then things turn out to be a mess. I would like to get somebody in that really knows what they're doing and look at our kitchen and talk about some ideas and kind of hear what somebody with some real experience in designing looks like, kitchen designing, and let them kind of feed the ideas rather than all of us trying to say, well, I think we ought to do this and I think we ought to do that. One thing I know we need in that kitchen is more storage. I think we need more usable counter space, i.e. we need something that you can put things on and it's not going to burn or mess up. So that's sort of my idea of where we go. We put new lighting in, possibly take out some of the cabinets to replace them with others. A new floor in there, I think would make that kitchen a place where people really want to work. I'm afraid sometimes now people are just, well, they'll do it, but they really don't want to. They're like, do we have to go in that kitchen and work? So that's sort of that major project. Does anybody have any problem with moving that direction? I see a hand. Is that Michael?
Yeah,
Yes.
all these wholesale food vendors, they will send someone in and draw up plans for you,
Okay.
so you can get that and go from a plan instead of just going from what you have, you know?
Right, that's what I mean. That's what I wanted. I want somebody that knows what they're doing to sort of,
They'll do that for free.
oh,
I could get different ones to do it. But
okay.
I'll call a guy and find out. They can draw plans. They'll see a room and everything, and you can go by plan instead of by what you have.
Yeah, I definitely want a plan. I don't want to just jump in there and do something. I want a plan.
Right. You don't want to do it piece by piece.
No.
They'll do that, and it'll be for free.
Great. Thank you. Any other comments, questions, thoughts?
I have a thought.
Okay.
We have a lot of projects going, and we want to get everybody involved. And it's just saying, say join this altar deal or sacrifice. I think if we're more specific in what kind of volunteer work is needed with the hours and the commitment, and in more detail, it might be, it would help me decide what I would like to do next. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, I sure do.
I don't know if anybody else does that, and I think that would.
No, I agree with you, John. This is Lucy. I think that's a great idea.
So sort of a job description and how much time.
And what days, you know, some people can live, some can't, some will go
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know how much we can expand the kitchen. My hope is that what will stay permanent is our Vent-A-Hood and our stove, because that gets into some real money if we try to do anything with that. The one thought I had that I've seen in other places is the cabinet in the pass-through window. If we took it out of the kitchen and put it on the side where the parish hall is, it wouldn't take much more space because that counter sticks out on that side anyway. And that would at least open us up a little more space there. It still wouldn't be huge, but it would be a little bigger without a big pulling walls down, those kinds of things that where you're going to really get into some money. Does that answer the question, maybe?
Another thought, what is the forecast for church membership? For the last maybe 10 years, membership has fallen down. And I wonder if we should consider that. And we need more storage, I admit, but we're planning to do something outside. Something out there, maybe for Michael Ward. Or Brent Ward.
Okay. When I say more storage, I mean more storage for the things that we have in the kitchen, not more storage in that sense. But
We are planning to have a facility outside for weddings and meetings, and we're gonna build something out there.
we hope.
Maybe we could revise some of our storage area and take some of that and make the kitchen really nice, bigger enough.
Well, right now that's not on the timetable, John. And when you say that the membership, just so you know, we've been fairly consistent. When I go back and look at the records, I know that there were some records that stated that we had a certain attendance before I got here. But if you go back at least 2 years back from when I got here, our membership and our attendance is pretty consistent over about the last 8 years. When you take out that people, particularly when you take out that late Sunday evening service, where it was mostly our people duplicating yet again, if you take that out, we're pretty consistent with where we have been for about the last 8 years. Give or take a person or two. We were, honestly, if last year into this year had been a normal year, we would be up this year. But because of COVID, we haven't been able to have the attendance that we would have had. Because we've had more people transfer in or become not necessarily members yet, but attendees than we've had leave.
We certainly have more people online.
Oh my gosh. If we could tap into that dollar, we'd be doing all kinds of things. Yeah, we probably average somewhere around 120 a week if you count it online. So that's really good.
Back to the same so-called government union.
Is there any day that might
Yeah.
Wait a minute. I can't get him to unmute. Unmute.
He's trying to.
Did you unmute, David? No, you're still muted. There you are. You're good. I can hear you now.
Well, someone, everybody's got all these ideas about the kitchen and stuff that gets input on that. Michael had the best idea. He let a professional do the planning, what you can actually do with what you've got. Right. Then you know what you're working for and for, rather than trying to shotgun stuff. So I think Michael had the best idea
way. An inventory can be done of all that stuff, but I'm not, no, I won't. Right. Yeah.
I would think again that could wait until we get some kitchen plans and then we can decide what needs to stay in the kitchen and maybe what can go elsewhere.
But an inventory would be good regardless. I mean, that's true. An inventory would be good, and then once we have a kitchen plan, we can decide what needed to go and what didn't. But no, I think an inventory would be good, and that would be a project that somebody could do over, you know, a period of time that wanted to volunteer some time. So that could actually be a volunteer opportunity that could work for somebody who, you know, didn't want to be here when anybody else was here, or, you know, when there weren't very many people here, they could come up and do that. So that could be a couple of different opportunities for volunteers. Anybody else? Anything? Thoughts?
I guess, Michael, my question would be, if people, after they think about the kitchen remodel, I'm sure people will have questions or maybe concerns. What's the best way for them to address you about those? Through email?
I would prefer email or a text, and that way I can address them. Here's what I'd like to do. Unless somebody has a major concern, let's follow Michael's idea of getting somebody to plan something. Then we can put it out there, and then we can get some sort of comments of, well, have you thought about this event and how that would work? Or maybe that would be better than just, unless there's something major that you think is really, really important.
Do we have a timeline at this point?
No.
It
I haven't-
sounds like that,
Michael, I guess
It does, that's,
it sounds like that, I mean,
Well, right. But I like to be as transparent as possible with things that, you know, we do a major project each year. Yep. So I think jumping in, the next thing is like Michael said, let's get some plans from somebody who really knows what they're doing, and then sort of put it out there to the vestry and see where it goes. I don't have a timetable other than if we're going to do Easter dinner, I don't want us to start before we get the dinner out. Do what? I'm sorry.
just said, I doubt you could get a contractor.
Well, that's probably true too. Especially not somebody to draw up plans first. I'm sorry, David?
I said, you're not gonna get the plan between now and then.
Right.
That's a project right there in and of itself.
Right. And so it very likely may go into next year, but if we're trying to look at continuing to improve and enhance the building, I just think that's the next logical thing, unless somebody else thinks there's something more important at this point to look at. I just look at that kitchen and think, I don't know when it was last done, but it looks like it's been a while.
When was it done last? What day? I don't recall when it was done. Right.
I think it's been painted,
Yeah.
maybe some
The last racing thing in there was the new stuff, the new writing they put in, that's been years ago. Way long.
It's been the same since we joined because we used the kitchen with my Cub Scout group. And that kitchen has been there since our youngest child was 7. So he's 32.
It's time. Any other comments, questions, concerns, thoughts? Ashley, was that you? Did you hold up your hand?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I just wanted to say thank you to everybody for letting us have that kindergarten there. It's saved me and 4 other families from the crazy times that, this pandemic has done, and our kids love it. And if there's anything like talking on the volunteer opportunities, I know I'm the only member of St. Bart's, and the 4 other parents are not, but they have all said that they would gladly do anything and help out on anything that the church needs, just to show their appreciation. And the same for the kids. I know they helped bag up the Thanksgiving and Christmas, or did they just do maybe Thanksgiving?
They drew pictures for Thanksgiving, and I think they helped do some bags for Christmas too, but I can't remember exactly.
Yeah. But anything like that if you guys have any ideas, you can reach out to Father Michael or me or anything. And those kids, there's only 5, but they're happy to help.
Any other thoughts, questions, concerns, wants, needs? All right. Well, if you think of something, remember, my phone works all the time. I ask that, what I always ask is, if you have an emergency, call me no matter when. It does not matter. But if it's not an emergency, I would ask that you stay between 8 and 8. Please. And remember that my phone stays on all the time, so if you text me at 2 in the morning, I get it. So, but really and truly, that's what it's there for, and that's what I'm here for. And when I say I want you to call me, I really mean it. It's not just me saying it because I should say it. I really mean it. And most of you know, if you try to call me, that I mean it because I follow up. All right. I don't know if anybody's printed. What did I do with it? I thought I had it. Oh, shoot. I lost it. I lost the prayer for our church. I don't know what I did with it. That's all right. Let us pray. Gracious and loving God, we thank you for this wonderful time that we've had today. We thank you for all the discussion and the ideas. We ask that you would just continue to pour your blessings upon each of us and upon this ministry. We ask that we not ever limit your power of what you have for us to do. We ask that you always help us to keep our minds open to all the possibilities that we know in you and the work that we do because of your call, because we are open to your call. We'll open more and more doors and create better and stronger ministries. Create us to be stronger people. Help us always to lead with your light and your love, so that we might always be a pointer, a light that shines your gracious love and care on everyone you meet. And we ask and pray all this in Christ's holy name. Amen. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Come see me when you can.